Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. Special preview episode today with a person that I've had on the channel a couple of times in the past, and he's been killing it in the YouTube game recently. He's a AS Roma content creator, one of the best in the game. So make sure you guys check him out after this, and then obviously he'll plug everything that you need to find out later on. And here he is, Karim, that beautiful baby face, that Dybala baby face.
What is going on, guys?
Yes, welcome to the channel for your third appearance, your third cap on the show. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great. Great to be part of the Inter Milan community for today. Thanks to your generosity, your hospitality.
Yeah. We are very hospitable. You can see Mattia seems like I think he already is familiar with your content, and he's already plugging it in the comments.
Mattia Jovic, my man. Thank you.
And let me give a quick shout out to the people that are in here, like Mighty Mo, Christian Potato, Brat, Kuro Black, Giuseppe. Hope you're doing well. Franco, let's go for that second spot. I think Lazio have that tied down, unfortunately, right, Wayne?
Yeah, I think it's theirs to lose, and I don't really anticipate them. They're so solid. Sadi is such a good manager that I wouldn't count on them losing that.
Yeah, I think they've got that tied down. Matteo, hope you're doing well. Mike Ma, hope you're doing well. Paki, thank you for coming through. Eduardo, good to see you. Giovanni, Mighty Moya, Silvio, what's up? Luca, hope you're doing well. I'm confident, which means we'll lose. Yeah, we'll see. YouTube. I don't know if it's actually YouTube or someone who's just replicated the YouTube name. Thank you for coming through. Varmo. Yeah, Roma versus Inter, always tense. Yeah, we talked about it. We just did a preview on Wayne's channel, and Wayne said, this is a derby, but it doesn't have a name. Like, it doesn't have its own name for the derby. Maybe it should. So going into this game, always, even though if we look statistically, I've got this who scored thing pulled up here. We do quite well against Roma. Like over the last couple of years, we had a draw, that we won. But then this last game, Roma came to San Siro, came to our home, and beat us 2-1. So I'm not feeling too confident now. But at the same time, Roma themselves at the moment are going through a big injury issue. So how are you coming into this game, Wayne? Are you feeling confident, or are you feeling do these injuries are going to kill us?
I'm nervous. I know that it's going to take some superhero effort from the Roma players, and I don't know which player that's going to be. And if it's someone, it's definitely unexpected. There's no feeling for me like, oh, this guy's going to definitely get it done. Because what I saw against Monza was a team that was fatigued, one that, like you said, is riddled with injuries. And in the face of that, when you lose your key players and your MVPs, then it's like, who rises up? So right now, I'm waiting for that. And I also know, as Google tells me, that Inter have won more games against AS Roma in Serie A than against any other side. And that's 75 wins for the Nerazzurri. So the odds are against us. But like you said, who knows? This is a derby, and hope by the end of this derby, we actually get a name for it. If anyone wants to throw some comments out on that.
Yeah. Give us some ideas, guys. The derby del something.
Exactly.
I can see people recognize you from the work that you've done with IFTV in the past as well. Good to see. Inter now is like a tsunami. Silvio says you can't stop it. It's just a question of how much damage. Wow, he's feeling very, very confident. But to be honest, the big injuries that make me feel like we have no excuse really Inter to not win this game is, your best centre back, your most consistent centre back, Smalling, your leader at the back. Well, actually, I don't know if you count him or Mancini as your leader at the back. And then, of course, your creative force, the player that Interisti, I don't know if you've been following, Wayne, but, Interisti feel really burned about the fact that we didn't sign Dybala in the summer. He is, I think for me still, when he's not injured, a top 3 player in the league. So those two players missing to me are, Inter have to win, basically.
You know what, though? We spared you from signing Kumbula a few years ago, and now that guy has become a fringe player. He just tore his ACL. I mean, you win some, you lose some. No, but Dybala has been, for me, as a Roma fan, I feel like we've always, we don't sign a player like Lukaku or Lautaro Martinez. It's always like a free transfer. It's always not a sure shot, but a gamble. And for me to get that player who, very much so is still a gamble because of recent injury history. Not so recent, I should say, over the past 3 years. It's
Yeah.
like I take that chance just because of the quality that he can provide, because he takes the team from when he does start from here all the way up to here. So it's a completely different thing when he's on the pitch. But Inter, I don't think should feel so hard done. Lautaro, 19 goals so far. He's having a heck of a season. So
Yeah, you know what it was is so it was kind of this Lukaku. It shouldn't have been. It should have been both. You bring, a team like Inter usually would bring both. You bring Lukaku on loan and you bring in free transfer Dybala. But obviously, our financial situation doesn't allow for that. So it became a Lukaku or Dybala. So it became like a thing. Like, are you a Dybala over Lukaku guy or the other way around? And then obviously Lukaku comes in, gets injured for like his first ever serious injury of his career, where he was out for like 3 months. And on the other hand, we see Dybala, who even still, I mean, he's proven, by the way, that he is injury prone. Like, that's one thing that we have to say, he is injury prone. But at the same time, he still hasn't been as injured as Lukaku was, and he still hasn't managed to put up goals and assists at crazy level. So you know how it is, bro. Like,
I wonder what's going on with Lukaku. I find that he doesn't take it so seriously. I mean, the man came in like 5 to 7 kilos overweight. I'm like, you have one job. It's to play football and stay fit. You could hire the best personal trainer, the best personal chef. What are you doing, man? Like, you're in the prime of your career. You could still do something for Belgium. You led them to absolutely nothing so far. Like, I don't know. Lukaku, for me, would really bother me, I think, as an Inter fan.
oh yeah, that's why the Dybala debate has been so heavy in the Interisti community, because of how Lukaku came in. He's picking form up now, maybe a little bit too late, but it might lead us to some sort of glory. So let's see. But it has been a hot topic, the Dybala Lukaku thing, and I think overall, obviously, the Roma, I think, got the better end of the deal for now. I must say.
I think so.
But tomorrow, this is the Sky Sport Italia predicted lineup, who are usually pretty reliable with their predicted lineups. Yeah, you're missing Smalling in here, you're missing Wijnaldum in middle, and you're missing obviously El Shaarawy. You're missing Dybala, as we said. Belotti, I think, is also missing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, these are all the guys missing. Karsdorp, Llorente, Belotti, Kumbula. So what do you make of this lineup? Do you think it's good enough to beat Inter tomorrow?
Well, I'm just starting to think about who's on the roster for Roma Femminile, thinking if any of the women need to be called up at this point, and some of the Primavera kids. It's unbelievable. I mean, I've been a Roma fan since I'm 10 or 11 years old. That's something like 22 years at this point, and I've never seen any team with an injury crisis like this. It's unbelievable, but Roma have played the most matches. I'm not sure if it's for Serie A teams or teams in general. I came across this stat recently.
Mm-hmm.
I'll confirm that, but it's they played the most matches, I think, in 2023 than any team. But I'll confirm that as this goes on.
I think it's because Europa League usually you have to play like an extra game or something. I think it probably is true.
It's ridiculous, and they're really feeling it. The team's not deep enough. The players are just they're falling down, man. It's too much. It's too much football, and it's killing the team. And I really think that it's not really beneficial for football, or at least it needs to be spaced out differently. But I have that here, and it's no Italian team has played more than Roma since Jose arrived in Rome. The Giallorossi take the field at least 109 times, Europa League final permitting, 55 last season, 54 this season. Inter and Juve follow with 108. So there you go.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, you see, especially with the squad build-up, when you have especially with Inter as well. I moan about this a lot in terms of because we have such a high average age. The other day against Hellas Verona, our average age was 31.8. So,
jeez.
Physiologically, you can't keep up with a game every 3 days. It's just, as we talked about Mkhitaryan earlier on your channel. That guy is the epitome of this. Is like, he's 34 years old, and you'll see everyone in the comments every preview I do that. Oh, surely Inzaghi's not going to play Mkhitaryan again, and lo and behold, Mkhitaryan starting every single game. And it looks like, let's have a look tomorrow in the predicted lineup. Yeah, he is. There he is.
He's very much missed. I think most Roma fans really miss that guy. I agree with letting him go. I don't think it would have been financially privy to sign him again. Like, if you look at the way that Napoli did business, they get praised for it. But Roma essentially did the same thing, and they get criticized. So it's like, I agree with letting Mkhitaryan go, but in retrospect, you look at what he's done, and it's like, dang, that's the one that got away.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think when someone's 33, 34, and he's, demanding 3-4 million, it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, you have to let it. And then someone like Bove wouldn't have come through, would he, if Mkhitaryan was still there?
it's a good point.
Yeah. So you have to, yeah, like it's the same. People always say like, oh, we shouldn't have let Perisic go, who was like one of our best players last season. But it's like at some point you have to refresh the squad. It's like, how long are you going to keep everyone? You can't keep everyone till they retire.
It's very much a cycle, and
Yeah.
there's a time. It's like, if you're not going to go for gold right now and you don't have the team around, then what are you holding on to these guys who actually do have value for?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. DiMarco wouldn't have been able to come through if Perisic was still there. So,
and he's a great player, DiMarco. I rate him, really do.
Yeah. No, yeah. He's been one of our best players for sure this season. We have to revenge the stupid loss in the rest fixture. Yeah, let's talk about the loss last time round. That one was one of the most frustrating losses for me personally, because as I said to you on your channel, I felt like in that bad period we were going through at that time, it was one of our better matches. And then we concede the Dybala goal is a nice goal. It is a nice goal, but Handanovic, that was like the sign where it was like, please, Inzaghi, put Onana in now.
Yeah.
And then the second one, the Smalling one, even though you guys are like, I think, team on set pieces, right? I think that's a fact. Or some,
I think Juventus have overtaken that right now, but definitely top 5 in Europe.
Yeah, so you guys are really good in the air, but that Smalling one, it was like he was completely unmarked at the far post, and it was like such a bad goal to concede, and at home as well, losing to you guys was very frustrating. What did you make of like that match?
I thought Roma got, I don't want to say a little bit lucky, but I think that Inter controlled it well enough to feel that they should have gotten at least a draw.
Yeah,
Chris Smalling, though, is one of the best defenders in Serie A, and you can't understate what he really means to the team. Then, of course, you got the wild card with Dybala, and that's just a sensational hit. That's where his class really showed up. But to do that at the San Siro definitely showed a level of character. You got to not only come back and then draw a level, but then you got to go ahead, and that takes serious guts. And I don't know if there's many Roma teams of the past that could have done that. I also will try to point out, though, I don't think there's many Inter teams in the past 20 years that would have let that happen. And at that point, you got to start to wonder a little bit about the concentration. And you can say that very much so for Roma right now. They just led up to their last 2 goals they allowed. One was against Milan in the 97th minute off of poor marking. The other one was midweek against Monza, poor marking.
Yeah, but overall, you guys, as I was saying to you on your channel, it's like you can see now Mourinho's image within this team. He's kind of changed your mentality completely. There's no more of that Fonseca kind of, nice football, but you guys on a big game, like you're gonna crumble. Like now, you're a solid team. Only 31 goals conceded this season, much improved from last season. So yeah, I am not too confident going into this game because of that, because I feel like Mourinho will close things up and make it maybe emotional. He's been talk to me about Mourinho recently. Like he's on a tear at the moment with this post-match press conferences and interviews. Like,
oh my god,
tell us how is it like having Mourinho as a coach? Like I miss it.
Did you ever see
draining. As a content creator, it must be draining.
Did you ever see The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah, of course.
So there's the part where Leonardo DiCaprio gets picked up by the FBI. And then he goes and he sits in the conference room with Donnie, and he has the yellow piece of paper, and he says, "I'm wearing a wire. Don't incriminate yourself." And that's all I could think of when Jose was like, "I've been wearing a wire." I was like, "What are you talking about, Jose?" But I like it though, because what he does is he shows what every Roma fan has been feeling forever, is that the league does not take them seriously, does not give them the same benefit of the doubt that they give, I would say, at least the other 2 teams with Milan and Juve. So when he goes out and he shows, no, this stuff is happening to me. And I don't know if it's illegal. I'm not an attorney, especially when it comes to Italian law, but I get it. And I don't want to say comply, but I understand it. And I think that, not that it was a good idea, but I totally get where it's coming from. I think it's justified, what he's been doing. But I like and I love that he always sticks up for the boys, and he doesn't single out players in press conferences. There's this misconception that he throws players under the bus. Anything but. If you go through every press conference, and I try to post them on Twitter too, is that he always says, I'm not going to single players out. He says, we as a group, we need to build a mentality. We need to commit less mistakes. So it turns it from a bad, I think almost vile atmosphere where in the past players have turned on one another and there's been a lot of chiacchiere, a lot of chatting to newspapers and stuff. And it goes from being almost like an inner circle. And it's that circle of the team looking at one another, which Mourinho has completely fostered and implemented into this team. And I'm hoping that long term, once Mourinho leaves, that it's that type of mentality that stays and that becomes really embodied by this club. That is my prayer.
Yeah. No, I think he's really done a good job in terms of that, as you said, and I do miss that kind of that mentality that he always creates the siege mentality of us against the world, or everyone is against us, and he always manages to like just bring everyone together and insulates everyone from everything else, brings the attention on himself, and usually it does work. So I do miss that. He's the complete opposite. I mean, complete opposite to Inzaghi, who is kind of a guy who's he will never do a memorable press conference, or he'll never go against the grain. It's always kind of gentlemanly or kind of nicey. So I do
Mourinho's
miss
had it. He's like,
yeah.
I'm not dealing with this anymore.
Yeah, but would you say are you happy with Mourinho overall? Like, do you think the transition from Fonseca to Mourinho, like, do you think this was a good decision?
Yeah, I do. I think the one thing that has limited Mourinho's Roma is the budget. Look, guys, last summer, you know how much Roma spent in the Mercato? 7 million euros on Selic, a right back most of us never heard of before. The rest of the guys, every single one came in as a free transfer, including Solbakken, who came in January. So what do you expect? What are expectations? Now you got those that come along with being a club from the city. So automatically people are like, yeah, Roma should be way up high. But in reality, when you look at the budget and what they could actually maneuver around and what they had to get rid of on top of that, yes, absolutely. I am satisfied. And I think he's met expectations. We already have silverware at the club now. And now next week is a really big opportunity to do something the club has never done, which would be to get to the Europa League semifinal. The final, and then take that home. And then that would just be the icing on the cake, I think, even if Roma don't get into fourth. But for the circumstances, I think Mourinho has done a really good job.
Yeah. No, I agree. He was if you can get Mourinho, any team that should be going for Mourinho. And I want to see. I'm interested. What's your prediction in terms of, does he stay of this summer, or do you think someone comes calling for him? Because I feel like he's kind of upped his a reputation once again. Like, people thought that maybe this guy is dusted and stuff, but I feel like this job has done him good.
Yeah, definitely. I think his stock has definitely risen again. And I think if somebody like a Newcastle or a Chelsea came, or Real Madrid and Ancelotti called it quits, if he gets another Champions League, then I think it's hard. It would be extremely difficult for him to turn down. I know he would be adored by the Roma fans if he did decide to leave. My desire would be for him to stay one more year and to see out his contract, especially with Adidas coming in, because there's going to be, I want to think that Adidas is going to prepare a really big package for the club based around Dybala and Mourinho.
Ooh, so Dybala is he Adidas as well?
Yeah, he's sponsored by them.
Oh yeah, that could be a nice little combo. Yeah, Mourinho's always been with Adidas. I remember even back in the
I would love a Dybala line. I would definitely pick up some things off that.
Yeah, definitely. That's an interesting link there you brought up. That could be interesting. I think and then like, you've got rid of, as you said, lots of dead weight over the last few years. Kind of trimmed your wage budget slowly. So there should be some. If you make Champions League, there should be something to work with.
We miss Fratesi very much so. That's a big regret in Rome right now, is not being able to get him in. The situation with Zaniolo. So it's we'd like to get him back, I think, if Roma qualify for the CL.
Yeah. Well, if Sassuolo stop asking for these crazy money that they always ask for, only
the stars.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have got like was it like a 15-20% or something clause?
Yeah.
Or something, right?
Yeah, I believe it is something probably around that. So it's actually cheaper for Roma to purchase him. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, I think he's ready. Yeah, I think he's ready for a club like Roma now. He's
Oh yeah.
definitely. I mean, I think he was ready already last season, to be honest. But
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think so too. I think he was
yeah,
still slightly raw, but this season he's emerged as a complete player.
yeah. Let's get into the lineup. Is there so there's a few changes for Inter. Like there's looks like Brozovic will rest, so Hakan steps back into that Regista role. De Vrij coming in for Acerbi, who's been another one that's probably been a bit overplayed. So I'm glad that he's getting some rest. Darmian coming back in, and yeah, Correa, Lukaku, the rotation that we all know that is not based on form, is not based on performance, is just based on Inzaghi rotates our strikers every game. So who in this lineup, is there anyone that stands out to you or that you feel like is the danger man?
Dumfries, for his sheer pace, the guy can be a real hassle at the right wing back role.
Sorry, this is a really good shout for the name for the derby, the Digital Bits derby.
Yeah, the one that doesn't pay us anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry for interrupting. That just made
That's
me laugh.
pretty
Thank you,
good.
Matteo.
And I want to say Barella. I think he wants to turn it on. Whenever he does so, it's up to him. He's a player who can put the match into his hands, in his own hands, and take control and can be decisive. And I think, especially given Roma's tired legs, if Barella wants to go out there and be the man, he absolutely can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. We talked about it on your channel. He's been the image of inconsistency for us this season in this inconsistent Inter team. But when he turns it on, he's been it's, his peaks, I think, this season have reached the highest peaks that I think I've seen Barella reach. But then he's also had some lows that I've not seen Barella reach. So yeah, I hope he's also turned his form around recently. So I hope it continues like that. No fear of Lukaku, Correa, no, nothing.
I think, no. I want to give you like a real analytical, like I work for Sky Sports type of answer, but to be honest, I'm like,
No, I was just baiting you anyway there. Well, no, don't you got last season Dumfries. I mean, he's become a bit of a meme player this season for Inter fans. But last
yeah,
season, as I was saying to Wayne, he scored in the both of the games against Roma last year, and I think against if it's going to be Spinazzola or Zalewski up against him, I think he can be a danger on that far post.
yeah. Zalewski has struggled this season. That's another reason why I thought of him, Adriel, is that what we are expecting would be like a like for like battle between Spinazzola and Dumfries, perhaps. But Spinazzola is a year older. Zalewski is still raw, and at times he's definitely struggled. And I think that a player who's about into his prime, like Dumfries, when he wants to and when he's up for it, he could be a really tough opponent to handle.
Yeah,
He's stronger, he's got more pace, and he likes to get in behind the back three. And with such a shallow team, I still think that Dumfries has it in him. There's a reason why 9 months ago there were 40-50 million euro offers being floated around, supposedly, for him.
yeah. Which, in hindsight, we should have taken. But let's move on to your team, your boys. As Sunit was asking, the back line is the big news where Smalling is missing. So it looks like Cristante will have to step in middle of the three. And then, as we said, Wijnaldum missing. You got El Shaarawy missing, Dybala missing. Who is the guy that, as Inter fans, we should be watching out for? I said Tammy on your channel, but he's not been great this season.
If Lorenzo is on his game, he becomes really, really difficult, I think, to play against because he's smart, he's agile, he likes to get the ball up the pitch quickly, he's got good vision. But then again, Abraham, he'll sleep for 90 minutes, and then for 1 minute out of those, he'll show up and he'll be there, and he will get the ball into the back of the net. He's really difficult, actually, to defend against once he does get into the net. And that's one reason why he hasn't scored so many goals and people take their eyes off of him, because Roma strikers haven't been given as much free range, I don't think, as last year. They're less involved in the box. But when he is on his game, Tammy's a really difficult striker to play against. So I think that if he's on, also Solbakken, there's some unpredictability there. He's adapting to Serie A still. He's a direct winger. He's one that will try to take you on 1v1. And I think because Inter players and the rest of Serie A has not really gotten used to him, nor has he gotten used to Italy, he becomes this unpredictable name. and let's see what the Norwegian can do.
Yeah. Yeah, he's I'm not really seen much of him, so I guess you said the unknown quantity factor.
Even Sky doesn't know who he is. They don't have a picture for him.
Yeah. Well, another factor is I don't know what you think of him, but I think Rui Patricio is also not good enough to be the starting goalkeeper for Roma.
He's aging. See, it's a Handanovic situation 2.0.
Yeah. So now we've addressed it because it looks like Onana is coming back into the. I don't know, for some weird reason Inzaghi rotates our goalkeepers, like that's a Inzaghi thing. But Onana looks like we'll be starting this game. But for you, I feel like he is a potential weak point in the side.
I just saw that question come in now, and it got me thinking. Missing probably a great winger. I think that Zaniolo's absence was never filled. Zaniolo didn't fill in his own absence, to be honest with you. Left wing, I think a really impact type of player like Leao, someone like that. A true center mid who controls the game, but also adds what Mkhitaryan used to, a bit of facilitation from defense to attack. So right there, you got your center mid, probably a winger. And I don't want to say striker because I think that Tammy has it in him to have the type of season that he had last year. I think just tactically and mentally things shifted a little bit this year. But yeah, I think that's my starting point, is a bit of a more dynamic, slightly attacking midfielder, someone good with the ball at his feet, and a winger who can really put the ball into the back of the net to counter Dybala on the other side.
Yeah, and a keeper.
Good call. And a keeper. Vicario from Empoli, who I really like.
Yeah. No, I think one of the things Mourinho I think has done really well this season is, like, I've always had big doubts with your back line in terms of Mancini and Ibanez. I think Ibanez, those doubts still remain. And I actually rated Ibanez a little bit higher than Mancini, but I think he has these like complete brain fart moments that are unbelievable. Whereas Mancini, even though I still don't really like Mancini, but I have to admit he has been quite consistent this season. He seems like he's sorted out a few of those issues he used to have in the past, right?
Absolutely. He's grown from like this young 20-something, kind of likes to get a rile out of players, into what I think
He annoys me a lot.
Yeah, and that's the guy you want on your team, though. You want him on versus rather than against. And Mancini yet has built up the maturity to handle that and not to almost like to bait it in, but not to give it back to the point where he gets in trouble, which I really like. But also he's been a really great defender too. He has a really good long ball, which you might remember from the Conference League final, where he made that great pass into Zaniolo, who finished it. Game ended 1-0. So he's got that to his game as well, deep lying or the long ball out from deep positions. And like what you were saying, like you rated Ibanez slightly above of Mancini. I think that I don't want to say what's the correct word here. That battle, that face-off, that comparison has now shifted, where I think Mancini has really emerged as a leader within the team, and Ibanez is a squad, a role player.
Yeah. He hasn't developed. I thought Mourinho would be able to get, I think mentally is the big block with Ibanez. He needs to, he just can't stay concentrated. So it seems like for full 90 minutes.
And I don't know, Sharma, if you could teach that. Is what I worry about.
Yeah, I think it's like you either have it or you don't, or it's difficult. Yeah, it's like how are you going to coach that? Like, are you going to sit next to him? It's like stay concentrated. Like
hold his
yeah. But let's finish up with the top four race. We did it on your channel, so now I revert the question back to you. The question that you asked me is one of the tightest top four races that I remember. I mean, it was tight last few seasons, but this is even more tight because there's so many teams involved, 6 teams potentially that can go into the top four. And this upcoming weekend, all the big teams are playing against each other pretty much. So yeah, what's your prediction? Who ends up in top 4? Do Roma make it?
I'm going top 3 as is. Lazio stay. I think maybe you could even see Juventus jump into second place. So I'm going to go Napoli, Juve, Lazio. Roma, and I don't know if my heart is taking me for a ride here, but I feel like Roma can grind it out. I have a good feeling. I'm a nervous feeling, but I think that they can get a result. And I also know that this upcoming, you've got Milan versus Lazio, and I expect Lazio to at least get a point off of that. They're the much better side, managed much better than Milan right now. I'll be honest with you guys, and your audience might like this. I do not like this Milan team. I find the players very unlikable. I don't think they're great. I find them maybe just good, and I'm going to stop at good. I don't think that the fact that they won Serie A last year, I think, was a signal that we had much bigger issues at hand within the league in terms of quality. And they're always complaining. I like Tonali, with the exception of Sandro Tonali, who I think is a really good center midfielder. Really good. Yeah, he breaks up the play. He's a decent midfielder. He's got some guts to him, as well as Benacer. The rest of the team, so I think that they finish 5th or 6th, and Roma gets the last. They get the 4th spot. And Inter, it's going to depend because Inter's so hot and cold. So I'm going to go 4th spot, Roma or Inter, but not Milan and not Atalanta.
Fair enough. Yeah, on your channel, I was like, I didn't even think about it before I came onto your stream, and then I was looking at the table and I saw Atalanta and their form and the fact that they don't have Europe, so I felt like they could sneak in. But now that I've like digested it, I'm like, nah.
Juventus this weekend.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to beat Juve.
Yeah, I think this weekend in general will be a big decider on this whole top 4 race. I think, if you guys beat us, then I would probably say, Roma can make it, because I think then Mourinho will just make sure in any way, shape, or form that you guys get that top 4.
I think that's fair to say. Whoever wins, Roma or Inter, whoever does win, if there is a winner, they're taking 4th spot.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a big weekend for that. I think, Milan have this, the semi-final commitments like we have. You guys have the Europa League final commitment, semi-finals, and so have Juve. So all these teams do have a lot of commitments. So it will depend as well what happens in those games. And we have that extra game, the Coppa Italia final in between as well.
Oh.
Yeah, lots of games, as you said.
Distraction.
Yeah. So let's finish up then with the prediction for tomorrow, 5 p.m. UK time kickoff over here. What are you going for? What's your gut feeling?
1-0 Roma.
Ooh, wow. Mourinho will love you for that. 1-0.
It's right up his alley.
Yeah.
Goal? Ooh, that's an unpredictable one. If I'm at the, what's the game? Roulette table, and I had to pick one number, I'm going to go with number 9. I'm going to go with Tammy Abraham.
Interesting. I think
off a header.
I think because we have been in good form, I feel like, especially in front of goal, I feel like we'll continue this in front of goal. But we might let in a chance at the back. And I've been wrong in the last match. I predicted a 1-1 in Inter beat Hellas Verona 6-0. So hopefully I'm wrong again, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think the Milan derby is coming up. We're going to be, maybe one eye on that game.
When is that?
Wednesday.
Wait, the Derby della Madonnina is Wednesday?
Yeah, UCL.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Duh. Champions League. Okay.
Champions League.
Sorry, on my brain. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there is going to be some focus on that in the players' minds, even if they don't want to. I think it's just, human nature.
Yep.
So I think, either Lukaku or Lautaro coming on as a substitute would get the goal, and then we can see the set piece from you guys. Yeah, header probably, as you said, Tammy Abraham.
Who's Bear Boy?
That's my thought. Huh?
Who's Bear Boy?
Bare
Boy. Barella. I read that in English. I should have known better. I'm like, that sounds strange.
Yeah, yeah. These little nicknames that you end up giving to players. Yeah. I'm sure you've got a few. I see. What do you call Bove?
Eddie Bove.
Yeah, yeah. You see, no one else
Eddie Bove
outside the Roma community. No one would know, but you know.
Eddie Bove works in a liquor store in North Jersey, and when he gets off of work, he goes for 3 slices of pizza, and one of them is pepperoni. That's his life. I gave him a whole
Look at that.
backstory.
There you go. Yeah, look at that. He's building stories, fan fictions.
Yeah, as soon as it hits 7 p.m., shifts over, puts on the gold chain, puts a little deodorant on, hits the clubs.
Yeah, it's Eddie Bova, you know what I mean. But yeah, thank you very much, Wayne, for coming on. You can see my chat is very confident about a win. They're all predicting a potential Inter win. I hope they're all right. I mean, I hope Eminem is definitely right with the 1-0 Denzel coming through. But we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. I'll be here for a post-match reaction. Wayne will be on his channel, so make sure to check him out. Yeah, actually, before we go, Wayne, plug your channel.
Yeah, guys, I'd love it. Even if you don't love Roma, I don't expect you to, but just go on and please give me a subscription. Working my way towards 1,000. I started 4 or 5, I don't know, like 6, 7 years ago, just taking videos on a tripod with a terrible lighting, talking about different clubs, and step by step, thanks to Sharma for his input, it's kept on growing, and I really hope that with him, we can become leading voices of Serie A for the respective teams, but also in general for Serie A football knowledge. But I would really appreciate that. Handles are Wayne in Rome for every single account, but especially YouTube. And thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, so you can click directly to his channel, and I've hyperlinked it down below. So make sure you check him out, guys. And yeah, make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. See you tomorrow. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter.